Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We got some breaking news, some things that are breaking off right now in the Nancy Guthrie case. And I gotta be honest, what does this all freaking mean? Does it mean that the feds are finally taking over this case? And if it is true, then I'm very excited about that, because we're not getting anything from Pima County Sheriff's Office. We're not getting anything from Thanos Nanos. Okay? So the fact that we got feds apparently showing up, we got suits, everybody, suits showing up to Nancy Guthrie's home. Something is definitely afoot. Something is most definitely afoot. We're going to be talking about that and then some. So do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it to do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Make sure you also subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe there as well. Hit that notification bell on both platforms. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel. Become a member of the family if you can. Check out my Patreon if you want to support even further. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we have got to get into this conversation. Okay, guys. So, of course, we have been diligently keeping an eye on this whole Nancy Guthrie case. We have been wondering what the hell's been going on for the last, what is it now? 25. It's 25? Wait a second. It's 25 days. 25 days. Okay? 25 days. And no one knows where she is. But now we got some new updates. Now we got something that's been brewing, something that's been popping off. And we have got to talk about this and take a look at this for ourselves. It looked like the feds are taking, well, I'll just say this. Feds show up to Nancy Guthrie's home. And I know a lot of us are wondering, what the hell does this mean? Why are they there? I'm thinking this. They are officially taking over the case. If that's true, we excited. Okay? We got to go over to JLR, because JLR is the one who's been live streaming this whole thing. And he actually live streamed the moment that the feds actually all show up. Okay? Nothing but SUVs and suits. All right? Just saying. It's pretty interesting. So we got to take a look at this for ourselves. Okay? And I got to find the moment, but it's in here. We got to take a look. Well, now, here's the thing. I know some people are rejoicing, like Ms. Domini. Like, I get it. You know, I'm gonna be very excited about it too, because that could mean a different trajectory, a different course of action. If the feds actually take over this investigation, maybe some more communication with the media, better communication with the communication, like better communication with the media and maybe the family as well. I don't know. Okay. Less of them lying or changing the narrative, denying all the information that has been leaking out here, instead of just doing a doggone press conference, being the responsible individual that they are. You see what I'm saying? It would be helpful. But if they are taking over, this could be a very, very big deal. This also could be nothing. But let's talk and let's see what the hell's going on here. And of course, I'm going to skip ahead because I don't have it, right? I don't have the exact moment. I'm trying to find it again.
He's back. He's back. Somebody's in the car with him. He's back. He's back. We knew it.
Who that?
Somebody else is in the car with him. A woman. A woman is in the front seat. There's some woman in the front seat with him.
That is a woman. That is a suit.
Who was that? A female in a
That looked like an FBI suit.
maybe some sort of detective?
Man, yeah, shout out to JLR. He been out there. Okay, he's been out there. It is warm in this room right now. Sorry, guys. I am heating up. But I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. All right.
That's that one guy that stayed behind. Like, yeah, it's a vacuum or some drilling.
It's something like I told you. That's what I was hearing. It sounds
Dude,
like a
you can hear
dentist
like
chair.
like a dentist drilling. It's not them up there. You can hear it like here.
Yeah, it's going from the house.
Dude, they're drilling in the house. Let me see if I can catch that on. Dude, you can hear it. They're drilling. They're drilling. Doing some sort of drilling.
Yeah, what are they drilling? I don't know. But I'm sure they're trying to take, they could be taking out the door. They could be taking out things from the floor, like maybe panels or pieces of the wall, depending on what the room, what the interior looks like. They could be in the bedroom getting some more stuff. Because again,
it's law enforcement. There's 3 inside now.
They
2
said
males, 2 female, or 1 female. 2 males, 1 female.
They said that they found
the house.
Mixed DNA, right? So maybe they're not done trying to see if they can extract some sort of DNA, some solid DNA to really get the person, right? Here's the other thing too. Yeah, I was just about to say that, top secret. Maybe they're in the bathroom, right? Maybe he went to the bathroom to wash his hands or something of that sort. Maybe they're taking out the piping in the sink itself to run it and test it as well. There's so many different possibilities here. Okay. So let me repeat this again for those of y'all who are new to the party or who just got in here. Let me tell you, this is not feds. This is just, we don't know who these guys are. Okay. They just showed up in a plain white SUV. My assumption it is the FBI, but this is not when the FBI actually show up. This is a little bit before this. Okay. I just wanted to show this to you guys because there was a lot of commotion that happened beforehand. Now, for those of y'all who don't know what's going on, this is
be taking a tile up for new blood sample.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Drilling like a camera mount maybe or something.
Maybe a camera mount, maybe drilling, getting a piece of the floor.
I heard this.
But they are at Nancy Guthrie's house. For those of y'all who are just getting new and savvy to this case, 84-year-old 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who happens to be Savannah Guthrie, Today Show co-host, Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie's home, okay? And everybody and their mama has been trying to find out where the hell she been, where's she at. It has been, now we are in day 25 of this crazy excursion, of this desperate search, trying to find 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Now,
tile to take for DNA samples.
Very true. That's
with bad
what
sample.
JLR saying.
Bring like a forensic team though, if it was anything to deal with DNA, like forensics.
He's got a point there, but at the same time, maybe they're like, we ain't got time. Time has run out. So we got to get through this, right? So that could be what's going on here. But let me skip ahead.
Folks, JLR.
Come on. Hold on.
Look here. I'll do right here. Fortunately, I like this spot because I'm in the shade. Let's go to Mount Lemon. That's going live. Just don't go to Mount Lemon. Just keep.
Let me find the spot. Hold on. There we go. It's coming up.
I think there'll be more like.
There it is.
We got a rack of them coming.
Yeah, he's tripping. So take a look at this.
Oh shoot, we got a rack of them coming. Holy smokes. Whoa.
Look at that.
Man, they're feds. Suits. Holy smoke. Law enforcement. Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't be. Hey.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big deal. They're just all over the place. Dude, feds everywhere.
Yeah, everybody tripping. Let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell you something. Yes, everyone should be like, because real talk, this to me, and I mean, of course, I'm just assuming here. This is just assumptions here. So we're in assumption city, speculation city. Okay, the feds have taken over. It is about mother-loving time. Let me just say that again. It's about mother-loving time. Okay? It's taken this long, and now we finally getting the feds coming in. Remember, they've been working in the background. They have not been leading this case. Remember, Pima County Sheriff's Department has been, well, actually the sheriff has kind of been a butthole. Yeah, I said it. I don't give a damn. He been a butthole, okay? He been a butthole. And he hasn't been really helpful. Not only has he not been helpful to the general public, I would assume, I'm just assuming, I don't think he's been very helpful to the family, the Guthrie family as well, but he has not been very cooperative with the feds. At least that's what's been said out here in these streets. Let's be real. All right. He has been an absolute gigantic, gaping, smelly, nasty, infected butthole. All right. And now, I think because Pima County Sheriff's Office hasn't done a damn thing, really, as far as finding real information or making some serious strides in trying to solve this case. I think the haters are going to hate. He did say that. Haters going to hate. But I think that the feds finally said it's time to step forward. It's time to take full control over this situation. That's just my assumption. I have no proof of that. Okay. Andrea, that's funny. But yeah, now come on, Pascal. We got to see what Nanos confirms. This is speculation. Insert sarcasm right here. Indeed. So again, I think also, let me just say this too. I think that the Guthrie family may have turned to Pima County Sheriff's Department and said, please let the feds take over. Remember, yesterday we got a $1 million reward by the family independently. They independently made a statement saying, we are giving out up to $1 million on anybody that has any information pertaining to the disappearance of our family. No, they didn't sit there and go, we're going to add $1 million to the $200,000 or the $100,000 that's in the reward that the feds already put up as a reward. Okay. They didn't say that. They said, we're putting up our own money and we're independently putting up $1 million, up to $1 million for anybody who has any information about our mama. So start squawking. I guarantee you the phones were getting lit up like crazy. I'm sure Savannah Guthrie's Instagram DM, like her inbox is probably broken now. She broke Instagram. Okay. She probably broke her own freaking email address right now because everybody's flooding her with all kinds of stuff. Probably well wishes as well. But at the same time, they're flooding her with crap right now. Okay. So again, now that the feds are in, maybe they finally said, well, listen, they're coming out here going, we will give you $1 million to start talking. Give us what we need so we can find our mom, right? Maybe the feds basically said, oh, okay, this is not good. This is not a good look for Pima County Sheriff's Department. This is not good. So how about we just take over so we can get this thing done, you know? So again, I think the family is done with Nanos's leadership, because what kind of leadership is that? And I also think that they're like, hey, we've been trying to get this going for the longest time. This is BS. And we've gotten nowhere in the last 25 days. Well, sorry, 24 days. Okay. Or actually, technically 23 days, because she posted that yesterday on the 24th, early in the morning on the 24th. So it'd been 23 days with bupkis, nothing, zero, zilch, nada, zippity doodah, right? And then they said, we're going to take matters into our own hands. Now we have to turn this all the way up to 11 and rip the mother loving knob off to get something going. And $100,000 isn't enough. $50,000 wasn't enough. $2,500 wasn't enough. Remember that? Remember there was a reward for $2,500? Remember that BS at the very beginning? $2,500 for anybody who has any information. Unfortunately, we live in a world where they go, $2,500? Man, I won't even wipe my own ass for $2,500. That's the world that we live in now. Hey, McDonald's is expensive nowadays. You feel me? So I get it. To get anybody up off that toilet, you're gonna need to crank up the volume on that money. So $2,500 turned into $50,000. Still nobody budged. $50,000 got doubled up by the feds to $100,000. Still, no one has budged. Another dude put in $100,000, said, I'm willing to donate $100,000. So collectively, $200,000 for any information. Still nothing. And now you have the Guthrie family being like, okay, we're done. We can't do this anymore. You guys are doing this whole like going up in small increments. We ain't got time for this. We going for $1 million. Anybody has anything, start talking. Thank you very much. It's a full-on, I'm sorry, but it's a full-on display on what kind of leadership is being involved, okay, within this investigation and how they're handling this family as well. It gives us a full-on reflection on what's going on behind the scenes. At least that's the way I see it, okay? That's at least the way I'm seeing how it's all breaking down. And now I think the family turned to Nanos and said, no. Nanos, no. Sit down. Cayete. Sit down. Let the feds take over, dag nabbit.
They came in hot.
Dang.
And it's lunchtime, so I'm gonna be eating, guys. Sorry.
Feds all over the place. Here they come. Definitely feds. Whoa.
What the heck?
Holy smokes.
Nice. Look at that suit.
Look at that.
We got suits coming in.
Yes. The entire catalog of Brooks brothers just walked in succession for the female catalog and the male catalog at the same damn time. And he had a little bit of J. Crew in there too. How do you like, and some Banana Republic. How do you like them mother loving apples? It's over, guys. Pima County Sheriff's Department, they're going to sit on the side and they're going to be like, whatever you need. Oh, you just need some coffee? Okay. We got a guy for that. Okay. But if you ever need anything else, no, nothing at all. I should just sit down and shut up. Okay. I'll be over. Okay.
Yo.
Crazy, right? It's about damn time. Nicole, spring edition. Have mercy. Come on, baby.
Nanos.
Feds,
Where's Nanos at?
please do something right. Please get this right.
I
Please.
saw suits. Attorneys, maybe? No, that's feds.
They're feds.
Yeah, feds for sure.
Yeah.
Dang, FBI is no joke, guys.
They came in quick.
They came in hot. They said we're taking over. Nanos is probably sleeping right now, guys. Come on. Feds. Everybody's saying feds.
Oh, yeah, it is a one-way.
They came in the wrong way. They came in the wrong way, guys. They came in the wrong way? Yeah.
I'm starting a
FBI
poll.
here. Dude, there's 3 SUVs that came in Tahoes.
Tahoos? That's a new pronunciation. That's a new pronunciation. Somebody's asking. I'm gonna say it. Let me pause it really quick. All right. I don't know what you guys are eating right now. Maybe comment in the family chat what y'all eating, because it's lunchtime for me. I don't know if it's lunchtime for y'all, but if it is, comment in the comment section, in the family chat what you eating right now. Could be dinner time. You know what I mean? Could be dinner time. You could be watching across the pond or down under. But I am eating some ground beef, some shredded cheese with a Japanese sweet potato and some pickled cabbage, red cabbage with some pickled jalapenos. I make my own pickled cabbage jalapeno concoction. So yeah, all homemade. If you guys don't know, I like to cook. I can cook. Pascal can cook. Okay. So yeah, there you go. No, I'm not on no diet. I just like eating good food. That's it. I just like to eat good food. That's all. Somebody eating Starbucks. Can you even eat? I mean, I guess technically if you're drinking, you are eating it, right? But you're drinking Starbucks, Nicole B. Is that what you're doing? Mm-hmm. Tuna sandwich. Ooh, that sounds good too. A tuna sandwich sounds fantastic. Shrimp salad sandwich. That's a new one. I've never heard of that before. Look at that. Somebody eating scrambled eggs with onions. Hey, there's no other way. There's no other way to eat those scrambled eggs. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Look at you guys. Everybody hungry. But yeah, cabbage is very underrated. It is very good for your digestive system, just so you know. Okay. Like pickled cabbage, very, very good for you. Very good. So I try to eat it, a couple times a day. It's very good for your digestive system. Nerding out here on food, just letting you know. Okay. So, yeah, maybe one day I'll do cooking with Pascal thing, for fun, but in time. If you notice, like the juices I'm drinking and the ginger tea and all that, I make all that stuff from scratch. I make all that stuff at home, yeah, I care about what's being put into my body. Okay. I want to live long. Don't you? So anyway, I digress. Let us continue. I mean, look how colorful this is. It's crazy.
Dude, they came down here quick, man. They came down the one-way street. They went the opposite way.
It's crazy. If it ain't colorful, it ain't healthy. Said no one.
Something is cooking, folks. Something.
I mean, obviously something definitely is going down.
I'll show you here. These black Tahoes.
Yeah, it's not a Tahoe. I got a little word there for you.
This one. There's another one I think I pulled over there by the side. I don't want to go in front of everyone's camera, block everyone's view. Where's that other SUV? So there's one in the back there, along with another white SUV. One. There's another one. So they're all here. I'm gonna use this spot right here because they're gonna all come around this corner.
What the heck? That sounds fire too. Very good point. Very good point.
This could be the break of the case. Serious stuff going on right here.
Could be nothing though. It could be a huge break in the case, but it also could be nothing at all. Just them taking over. But them taking over is a very big deal. It's very good news, right?
Now I have to keep an eye on the road and see if even more come.
Come on.
I'm gonna ask Mark the Shark. I'm gonna go up there and ask my drone guy. Hold on. Let me just ask what's going on.
Ooh. Don't worry, we're going to come back to this. I'm going to let it cook, though. We got some more stuff. So thank you, Messi, for sending this to me. I appreciate it. We got some more stuff. So according to Michael Ruiz, all right. So it's funny how it's like we're watching Sasquatch. You know what I mean? It's like they have moved from inside to the outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. But here it is. To me, it sounds like they are now taking over. So eventually there will be some sort of statement or post or something of that sort made by the likes of the FBI. Okay. There's got to be, right? Take a look at this. It's saying current situation. And of course, shout out to Michael Ruiz, because, you know, he's also been somebody, not only just JLR, there's been a lot of really great coverage. Okay. So shout out to all of them, include, you know, from JLR and everybody else, including Michael Ruiz. But he's saying developing current situation at Nancy Guthrie's, multiple vehicles, investigators at front door. Now, could this be FBI? Could this be just detectives? To me, I'm getting the vibe that this is FBI. Just from the cars themselves. Look, they're there, they're outside. They're, of course, at the scene where the blood splatter was at, you know, blood droplets were at, right? Of course, these are all the Tahoes, okay? All the black SUVs that we've been seeing, you know, on JLR's whole stream so far. This is a very fascinating situation. But let's take a look at this here. So yeah, there's that going on as well. Okay. So let's continue. Let's go back over here. Skip ahead one. Okay. I'm just gonna see if he's got anything else here.
Yes, you can. So I'm gonna just spin this around, folks, and just show you for a second. They're out there. Some are out there. There's more than 4. I would say there's probably about 10, maybe total law enforcement around here. About 10. So there's some outside and there's some inside the house right now. This is looks like some sort of group huddle going on.
Wow.
You need Sterling? I got my Sterling one right now.
No one good. It doesn't appear. None of them are Pima County.
No. I don't believe
Feds.
that at all.
I am quite curious. I'm curious about something. I'm wondering if, let's see if Pima County has said anything yet about this. Let's take a look. So far, nothing at all. Pima County.
Yeah, the front door.
Okay. I'll let him do his thing.
Front door. Going back over. Here's they're all in the front door. This appears to be an entire Fed operation going on, folks.
It's about damn time.
Battery level is low. Aircraft will return to the home point in 10 seconds.
muting that for a second. I want to show you guys this. Oh, come on. Come on. It's from Brian Enton. Some of his posts from earlier. Vehicles arrive at Nancy Guthrie's home. Our drone showed one person entering the back of the house. This was earlier, okay? Insane. So that was earlier, okay? And then this is as of a little less than an hour ago. Same situation. They're all outside looking at something. I don't know why they're looking at this particular area right here. Pulling this back a little bit. I'm wondering why they're looking right here. But then they walked over to the side, down the driveway, and they took a photo somewhere else as well. And I'm wondering why, right?
Can you clear my camera, please?
Hi. Yes. Okay.
No, this is not family at all.
Yes. They look like federal investigators, or I don't know if they're like speaking with a neighbor or something. Does that look like?
Can you clear my camera, please?
I mean, that could be a neighbor. The guy in the baseball cap, he could be a neighbor. He could be nothing, right? He could just not nothing, but he could be somebody who's just involved in this situation. He could also be FBI as well, just plain clothes. That's possible as well. But you know, I don't know. This is a very interesting turn of events. That could be something big, or it could be an absolute nothing burger. You just never know. Let's continue looking over here. Yeah, I mean, it could be somebody. It could be a tipster. It could be somebody who knows something, right? Money talks, baby. Definitely money talks. As soon as you say $1 million buckaroos, you know, people are going to start moving. Also, you put out $1 million buckaroos because you're tired of there being no developments in the case. And what do you think that's going to be? Like I said, what do you think is going to be a reflection of? It's going to be a reflection of the leadership and of the actual the leadership of the investigation and the investigation itself. So what do you think is going to happen? Right? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to either, the feds are going to be like, okay, we're going to give them one last day. And if they come up with nothing, if they're empty handed, we got to step forward, because now the family's saying we are dropping $1 million because we're tired of this BS of not getting anything. She could be anywhere and we got nowhere with this investigation so far. So there you have it. Right? So maybe that's the other reason why they're saying, hey, no, we gotta jump. We got to get moving. We got to get this thing going as soon as possible. The other thing, too, is, the other part I was thinking is, that really aggravates me is a source is saying that a source close to the investigation. Of course, we got to say this all with, take it with a grain of salt. They're saying that the Guthrie family wanted to drop $1 million in the very beginning, really early on in the really early on in the investigation, okay, in this case. And apparently their handlers, or the people that were involved in this, were telling them not to drop $1 million for any information pertaining to this case earlier on. And in my mind, I'm like, why didn't they do it earlier on? Why did they stop them from doing that earlier on? Because I feel like that would have made a lot of people talk. Yeah, and that's the other question, too. They're saying people in the investigation stopped the Guthrie family from actually dropping this nugget, this $1 million nugget that they dropped yesterday. You see what I'm saying? So this is just pretty nuts. I'm going to rewind this really quick just so we can see what the movement was about.
Activity out here. Just when we thought the case was getting crazy, just when we thought the case was getting cold, we have major law enforcement activity out here.
And I think it's all because of $1 million, guys. I'm telling you right now, I feel like it's all because of the $1 million post that she put up yesterday, period. Okay? That's what I truly think. I think what really happened here is as soon as she said, we're willing to fork over up to $1 million for anyone with any information pertaining to this case, that's when I feel like FBI was like, well, now we got to get up and do something, because that was their final, basically their final desperate plea. You see what I'm saying? And now Pima County Sheriff's Department looks like Boo Boo the Fool right now, because they've come up with nothing. Money talks, baby. And I don't like that. I hate that, but it's true. Remember the feds. Let's also remember, feds put up $50,000 in the very beginning. But I also want to remind you, let's take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? This is the memory lane sound effect. It's not, but you know, we're gonna go all the way back to the nostalgic era at the very beginning, when men and women were simple. Okay, when Nancy Guthrie first went missing. All right, there was a $2,500 reward for her whereabouts. $2,500 reward, guys. $2,500. No one's gonna, like I said earlier, no one's gonna do anything about that. They're like, what? No, right? Then it got moved up finally by the feds to $50,000. No one did anything. No, nothing, right? $100,000. They finally bumped it up to $100,000. And then that's when people started calling. But there was no uptick in price, in reward. And it's been 23 days at that time. Hence the reason why Savannah and them were like, you know what? Y'all should have listened to us earlier. We wanted to drop $1 million in the very beginning, if that source is true. And y'all said no to that. F that. We're doing it now. We're not asking for your permission. I'm assuming, this is just me speculating, that they're just like, we're not asking for your permission anymore. It's our mother. F it. $1 million for anybody who has any information. Go. Right? And now that's when the feds are like, all right, yep, it's time to take the ish or get off the pot in this investigation. And I think that's why we're seeing it here. Money talks.
Media is everywhere out here, man. Now, look at all this media. I'm gonna go back over here, position myself here. Let's see what happens here. FBI all over the place. Go right here, because they're gonna come out here. They're gonna come out here. If I see them anywhere else on the property, I'll let you know. They're gonna come out. They're gonna come out here. JLR investigates out here in front of Nancy Guthrie's home. Feds inside, outside, went around the house. I would say there's about 10 of them here. Estimate total. They've in a convoy of black SUVs. What we got? Where everyone's running. Everyone's running.
Or he's just trying to catch his drone. Maybe that's what it is.
Exactly what this is about. This is anything. Just told they were inside the house, all of them.
JP614 on Rumble says, I seriously think Tucson, Arizona sheriff, should be fired. What do you guys think? Should he be fired?
It is FBI.
It is.
Should he resign?
Absolutely FBI.
This is not.
They came down that way.
Did they?
Yeah, they came in a convoy. Yeah, they're absolutely FBI.
This is not Pima County.
No, this is FBI.
FBI.
Yes.
Do they have?
I mean, I could be wrong, but it's FBI.
Yeah.
I feel him on that.
This could be
like I could be wrong
inside the home.
It's like I could be wrong, but no, this is FBI. You can't question it. It is FB mother loving I. Okay, so he should resign or he should be fired. What do you think? Because obviously this took way too long for FBI to get involved. I mean, this is the pure true sign of leadership, is when you know when to step aside and let people with better experience or better resources take over the case. That's what it should have been. That's what should have happened here, right? There's a new TMZ video. I'll take a look. Thank you so much for letting me know.
We just wait. Dude, we were ready to go up to Mount Lemmon.
We do begin this out.
Plus, you got to keep in mind, a lot of them had suits, well-dressed suits.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Let me go live here. Let me see what's going on live. So, Sheriff's Department has shown up there.
Let's wait and see what this is all about. I'm going to check out that Sparky 0909 in a bit. I think the perp had a key, Shelly. Shell _ 772 says. Very interesting if the perp had a key or not. We've discussed that. If there's no signs of forced entry, either Nancy let the person in, the person slipped in somehow, or the perp had a key.
Exactly.
A duplicate key under the mat, key under the rock.
And that's one interesting thing, because they would normally tell how somebody got in the house.
Yes.
If they kept that information out for a reason.
Let me pull up TMZ, see what's going on. Yeah, they haven't really started any. I mean, they're doing all like the warm up stuff over at TMZ, but we do have something from here.
We do begin this hour with breaking news happening outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. 25 days into this investigation, there is now a surge of investigators at the house. The family is now offering that $1 million reward, which is generating hundreds of new tips. And those new tips may have sparked now the most activity we have seen at the home in weeks. Let's get right out to correspondent Nancy Liu live on the ground there in Tucson. Nancy, describe what has happened out there so far today.
Yeah, it's been pretty sudden. It's been in the past hour, just a surge of law enforcement activity here, the most we've seen in well over a week. And just minutes ago, we saw investigators peering out from inside the house, the window right next to the front door. I saw an investigator peering out. He seemed to be talking with other investigators right inside the entrance of the home. So there seems to be quite a focus on that front door. We also saw investigators walk up to the exterior of that front porch area. And of course, that is where that doorbell surveillance camera video has been from. We've seen the images of the suspect in this case, the masked man with a gun holstered in the front of his body. But we saw the federal officers arrive less than an hour ago. They were in unmarked cars. One vehicle appeared to pull straight into the garage before the others went around and entered the home. So they have been inside the home now for probably 30 minutes, almost 40 minutes. But this is significant activity. And of course, Nicole, this comes 24 hours after the new $1 million reward in this case. The FBI telling us that it did draw last night up to 750 new possible leads in this case. And this may be one of those tips panning out. So significant law enforcement activity, and hopefully this is a sign of a big break in this case. Nicole?
All right, so Nancy, you're saying that it's been
Wait a second. A sign of a big break in the case? Hold on. I need to hear her say that all over, just that last piece all over again. This may be a sign of a break in the case. I don't know about all that, guys, but that would be shocking if it's true. Real quick, before we continue, do me a solid, y'all. Do me a solid, ladies and germs. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it, okay? Let's get it to, can we get it to 2K? Is that too much to ask? I don't think it's too much to ask. Hit it, get it to 2K. That helps the show, helps the channel, helps us grow, okay? And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe. We are less than 1,000 away from the goal of 200,000 subscribers, guys. We are less than 1,000 away from 200,000. This is a goal I've been trying to get for a while now. If you can subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, guys? No pressure, but it's right there, right underneath the video. Just hit that subscribe. Okay? Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let me hear her say that one more time. This could be a break in the case. Word? Okay. See, isn't that crazy when money gets in? All of a sudden, freaking $1 million gets dropped on the table. Everyone starts going, well, actually, I saw him the other day. You know what I mean? Isn't that crazy? Everyone starts pointing fingers at each other. It gets crazy, right? Money, mother loving talks.
And this may be one of those tips panning out. So significant law enforcement tips.
Hold on.
Up to 750 new possible leads in this case. And this may be one of those tips panning out. So significant law enforcement activity, and hopefully this is a sign of a big break in this case.
Okay, so what do you guys think? Over 750 leads that they're investigating. Everything from I done saw her with Sasquatch on the side of the road, the corner of 9th and Main. I tell you what, that was the hairiest man I ever seen. He looked just like Sasquatch. Dirty as hell too, matted hair and everything. But that was Nancy Guthrie. I tell you what, that was Nancy Guthrie. Or is it somebody being like, yeah, I saw some things that night, or I was one of the people that was there helping him. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different 750 leads. You know for a fact there's so many, right? There's so many possibilities there's varying degrees of BS to actual like hardcore information. You know what I'm saying? All right. The Holy Spirit done woke me up in the middle of the night and said she was right there with Elvis and Tupac sipping margaritas south of the border. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, get ready for it. There's going to be those for sure. Right? But there might be other ones that was like, yo, how do they know that information? Remember this, okay? Remember the first round of ransom notes? Just hold on. Hear me out. Remember the first round of ransom notes? Remember what they said about those first round of ransom notes? Well, at least TMZ and other people who had their hands on the actual ransom notes. Other news reporters were saying that there was details that were said about stuff that was going on or that was left behind inside the house that no other person would know unless there was somebody working closely with the investigation or was with somebody, that was like in relations with somebody who was, maybe a boyfriend or girlfriend or a spouse of some sort that was eavesdropping on some information and was able to regurgitate that into an actual letter. They were saying that there's no way that they would know about these certain pieces of information for them to draw up a letter, a ransom note with that type of precise information. That's what they said in one of the first rounds of those ransom notes. So there's still a good possibility that one of the ransom notes could be real. I don't think they are, but there's still a possibility that it could be real. But there's also that part where if it's not real, how are other people getting the inside information about what's gone on inside that house? Like, how in disarray was the house, right? How bad was the bedroom? How bad, whatever description, whatever piece of information that they said in that ransom note, how bad or how would anybody know that information? You see what I'm saying? Reporters don't even know that stuff. So again, I'm just curious, at least those who are able to walk up to the front door and just look at the front door. How are you supposed to know what happened behind the closed door if you've never been inside the house? So again, people who are calling in and maybe going, yeah, I know exactly what happened because of X, Y, and Z, and I saw this, that, and the third. They could be, going and going down those specific clues or those specific calls because they might be the most descriptive or the most revealing as far as insider information, as far as that goes, as far as details within the investigation. But I don't know. It just seems a little bit odd that this particular person in Timothy, cool it. I'll get to TMZ. I swear to God, I will. Okay. You've said it like 15 times, Timothy. I'll get to it. I promise, Tim, I will. But as I was saying, how do we know, right? How do they know that they should go down that specific route? How do they sift through 750 leads and go, this is the one we're going down? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's information that we'll never get, and we'll never know. But at the same time, it is interesting that you'd have 750 different leads, and you might be just picking one out of the bunch, and it's like a Hail Mary. We're just going to see where this one takes us. You know what I mean? It's just interesting, but it could break the case. This moment right here, I don't know.
All right. So, Nancy, you're saying that it's been about a half hour. They are still inside, or they've been inside the home now for about the past half hour. Have we seen them bring anything out? And has there been any word about a possible press conference?
No.
There's not going to be a press conference, baby. Not never. There's never going to be a freaking no. Unless it's FBI taking over and they're saying, okay, let's get out there and do a press conference. But it ain't going to happen anytime soon, baby. Not the way that it's been going so far.
Not seen any kind of evidence come out. Of course, early in this investigation, we saw a considerable amount of evidence coming out of the house, including that DNA. But today, we're not seeing anything come out. We did see, a number of detectives walking around the property. They've been out back. They've been on the side. They've been in the garage. And again, we saw a big focus at the front door. And of course, that is where those suspect images have been coming from. They seem to be looking at the shrubbery around the front. Of course, that's where the suspect, grabbed some greenery and tried to block the camera. So this seems to be federal officers. We don't know if there is also a Pima County Sheriff's representative in the mix here, but we know this is a joint investigation with local and federal officials. So we have not gotten any confirmation yet of, who these law enforcement members are, but there is definitely increased activity in this investigation.
There's increased activity. We're all seeing it in real time. What does this all mean? What could this mean, right? Is there a possibility of something big happening, right? Is there an actual break in the case? What the hell? Is there an actual break in the case? I think that's something that we all would like to know. Now we are going over the TMZ. Yay! After many, many requests, have mercy. We're going to get to it, okay? We are here. TMZ did put up a video a little bit ago. They are live at the same time. That's why I got confused. But they did talk about this right at the beginning. They didn't talk about, I don't know what they're talking about here, but they're talking about Savannah Guthrie saying it'll take a miracle. Let's take a look.
Live. Savannah Guthrie is now acknowledging what a lot of people have been whispering. We are now at day 24 since Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, abduction, and she said pretty clearly and starkly, it will take a miracle to find her mom alive. Savannah posted something new today, upping the reward, but listen to just how dark and stark the situation is, and we're going to get into the fact that this is becoming very quickly a cold case.
For any information,
Nancy Guthrie probably is not alive, is not something that was planted or told to the family by law enforcement. Our law enforcement sources, our FBI sources, are telling us that this is a conclusion that was drawn by the family itself and not with the help of law enforcement or the law enforcement saying, look, the situation is bleak. Everybody kind of knows it, but this is an elderly woman who has medical issues, and you know, the handwriting is kind of on the wall, and as Savannah says, it's going to take a miracle. So she has upped the reward, and a lot of people are talking today about this photograph, a photograph of the presumed kidnapper, and this was sometime before the actual abduction on February 1st. If you look, he's wearing the same jacket, seems like he's wearing the same clothes. He does not have the backpack on or a gun, something he had in the video that we've seen and in that still photo on the right, that it is something different. And it was not taken that day, February 1st. Now, our law enforcement sources are saying they believe it was taken January 11th, nearly a month before the actual abduction. But they are not certain of that. It turns out Nancy's Nest system, she didn't pay for a video subscription. So she didn't have video in her system. But Google, which apparently owns Nest, is able to retrieve some of it, which is how law enforcement got these images. They think, based on their investigation, that January 11th is when it was shot or when they got that picture, but it was not time-stamped. So it's a working theory. But whatever their theory is, our law enforcement sources, and they are sources directly connected to the investigation, involved in the investigation, they are saying that none of these images have produced any real leads. They do not have a car. They don't have a suspected getaway car. They don't have a suspect yet. This person has been able to evade authorities in a way I have rarely seen in my career. I saw it in the 70s and 80s before the internet, before Ring video and all, but this is unbelievable.
I agree 110% with what Harvey's saying here. There's no way on God's green earth that this guy was not captured in some way, shape, or form digitally, electronically. There's no way, aside from the photos that we saw from the Ring camera or from the doorbell camera. That's it? You mean to tell me that they weren't able to get any other security cam footage? Google has not been able to do any of that. That doesn't make any sense. To me, it doesn't. It truly doesn't. Okay? It's wild that this guy's been able to go under the radar the way that he has. There's got to be a different way. There's got to be a faster and better way to get this guy. With the day and age that we live in, where we got social media out the ass, Okay, we got cell phones and all that. There is no way you can go through life without being captured in some sort of way, in some way, shape, or form, without you like living off the damn grid. Okay, there's just no way. You're going to get captured. An image of you is going to be captured in some sort of way. How is this not? How are they not able to capture this guy in anything? That's the wild thing. Now, I was on Court TV last night. Shout out to Court TV. Shout out to Vinny Politan, the GOAT. Okay, the GOAT, Vinny. We had a conversation about this whole thing. I mean, you know, when you talk about the backpack, the clothing, and all that, and you'd hope that this guy, this assailant, is an idiot. I mean, he's an idiot. That's clear. Because what idiot would do something like this to an 84? What person would do this to an 84-year-old woman, right? He's clearly an idiot. There's many other words I can call him right now, but I know we got kids in the room and they don't understand the term earmuffs yet. But you get what I'm saying. Like, he's clearly an idiot. So I would feel that he would go and buy everything from the same place all in one day, possibly all in 1 or 2 days, because he was about to go do something bad. He was about to go do something bad. And then he ended up doing the bad. And so this is the reason why I feel like, I know this sounds crazy, what I'm about to say, because it's kind of like, duh, you know, but this is the reason why I'm like, I don't know how much of like an idiotic monster this man is, or if he's just an idiot, but he's not a monster in the way of unaliving. He's a monster in so many other ways, but unaliving, maybe not. But maybe he's idiotic enough to believe that he can keep her alive and not get caught. And that's the kind of idiot you hope for, right? You hope that he's like, man, I could keep her alive. No. Freaking out, whatever the hell he's doing, right? She's still breathing. She's still alive. He takes her, thinking, but not thinking at the same time, but thinking that he's going to be able to, you know, maybe he's going to be able to like keep her alive and just keep her locked up somewhere. If she's not found, they can't get him in trouble, so everything's fine, right? Or he's just a really big monster and he's just an idiot as well. He goes and buys all of his material, all of his clothing, his book bag, etc., all at the same Walmart. He possibly buys it within the same week, if not the same day. He does kind of one of those big, you know, some of you girls say like a haul, you know what I mean? Yes, here's my mask and here's the book bag. It's only $10 at Walmart, right? But the whole outfit sponsored by freaking Walmart. He must have bought it all, pretty much all there in one day. So then maybe they could do the reverse math to get him, but he's also a monster because he takes her life and then takes her somewhere where God only knows where she went, where he took her. That's the kind of idiot you don't want. You want the idiot that can go, oh, dear God, I didn't mean to strike her. Crap, what do I do? She's still alive, and let me just take her. And if they can't find her, I can keep her alive. You know, I can keep her alive as long as she's somewhere. They're never going to find me, right? You just know what I'm saying? That's the kind of idiot you hope you find. But then he's so idiotic that he does something to get him caught. If that makes any sense, he does something big. He goes back to that same Walmart. I don't know. He goes back to the scene of the crime. What have you? That's kind of the thing that you're hoping for, right? Someone just being that dumb just to see what's going on. Kind of like a Coco, kind of like a Brian Koberger. Because remember, after the crime that was committed and he left that knife sheath, the Kobar knife sheath, the very next morning, he went back to the Idaho 4 house where there was already a crime scene, you know, police tape up and everything. Everybody's still outside, so on and so forth, right? He went back and it was caught. through cell phone towers and all that. He circled back the very next day because he's an idiot. But that's the kind of idiot you want when it comes to crimes. There's just no way that this guy knew that he wasn't going to be captured fully, knew that he wasn't going to be captured on surveillance cameras in some way, shape, or form, en route to her house and en route back from her house to God knows where he took her to. It just doesn't make any sense, right? But we had this whole conversation about this on Vinnie Politan's show, Vinnie Politan Investigates. And I mean, I just, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, man, I'm like, I don't it still boggles my mind, right? The math ain't mathing. The math really ain't mathing. Unless there's somebody on the inside that helped him in some sort of way, in some sort of shape or form. But remember, if this man was really about the money, one of those ransom notes would be real, would be authentic. And maybe that ransom note would have been paid. But this isn't about money. That's what I've drawn up. This is not about money. This is about something else. What is it? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I wish I knew. But let's continue. Aunt Vanessa. Thank you, Auntie. Hi, Auntie. I appreciate it. By the way, I watched last night and you did an amazing job on VPI. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sure to be up at some point, online somewhere. Check it out when you get a chance. But I don't think, and Nicole said it was a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake. Why, if it was a mistake, why would that guy go out there several days, days, if not several days before the actual attack? You see what I'm saying? Before the actual crime, night of the crime. If this was a mistake, this would have been a one-time thing. He shows up and he's like, oh my God, there's somebody here. You know what I mean? And then, all hell breaks loose, etc. But this man went there, cased the joint, and then he came back. You see what I'm saying? Then the mother lover came back. And I hate to ask, I hate to say it, but if it was about money, if it was about financials, one thing is for sure. He would not have shown up with a tiny ass book bag. Let me repeat that again. Let me just point this out really quick, because we talked about the backpack, okay? A $10 backpack from Walmart. $10 backpack from Walmart. It's not durable, okay? And it's small as hell. They showed it on the show on Core TV, so go check it out when it does drop, okay? And if you got to see it live, thank you so much for watching. But they showed the backpack. The thing was like this. Like, it was a small, not a baby backpack, but you know what I mean? It was a small backpack. You're not, if you're going to high school, it ain't a high school backpack. Let me just tell you that. You know how thick these textbooks are nowadays in high school? You could probably put one thick ass textbook in that book bag, and maybe a thin notebook, and that's it. Okay, and that's it, baby. Right? But that book bag was full on his way into the house. Mind you, nothing was stolen inside the house that we know of. Unless Pima County Sheriff Thanos Nanos is just not giving us that information. From what we understand, everything was still in that house. Sure, things were in disarray, but hey, he didn't take any electronics. No flat screen TVs were gone. No jewelry was gone. No vases. You guys say vase, but vase. All right, if you're fancy. All right. No vases were gone. Nothing of expense was taken from the house. And how would he be able to do any burglary with a book bag that tiny? It's not like he showed up with a duffel bag and a book bag on his back. He just showed up with the damn book bag, guys. So think about that for a second. Before we continue on, think about that. Put that bee in your bonnet for 2 seconds. Yes, I am fancy. Shoo. Have you met me? Mother love. No, I'm just kidding. But here it is. Just, I have amazing. No, I'm just kidding. I have amazing parents. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I do. But that's not because I say Voss. But anyway, think about this. All right. He walked in with a full backpack, stuffed. Tiny backpack, by the way. Now, if he was going to go in there, B&E, break, enter, take some stuff, and skedaddle, he didn't leave with anything. He just left with her. With a full backpack on the way in. Like I said, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if it was me, and it's not like I've ever burgled a place before, but if it was me, I'd be showing up and I'm there for just the stuff. I'm there for all the spoils in the house, right? All the loot I could get my hands on. All right. I'm getting a big ass duffel bag. And I'm going to try to stuff as much as I can in that mother loving bag. Then on top of that, I'm pulling up my car to the garage or the front of that house. And I'm taking the flat screen TVs. I'm doing everything. I'm getting everything. And I'm tossing it into, well, not tossing, but gingerly placing it, okay, into the back of my ride. Whatever I can fit into that ride. And then kick rocks. In fact, I'll tell you this too. I'm leaving that poor woman alone. I might, like, if you see what I'm saying, I'm going, hey, I'm just here for your stuff or whatever. Or I'm getting back in my car and I'm kicking rocks. I'm not taking her with me alongside the loot I just took from her house. No. Oh, no. Au contraire, mon frère. I'm taking the stuff, I'm taking the valuables, and I'm kicking rocks. But here's the thing. No car is in that driveway. Is seen, at least, in the footage. No loot has ever been taken out of that house. No valuables were taken out of that house. The only thing of value that was taken out of that house is the value of one person's life, and that is Nancy Guthrie's life. This was not about money. I repeat, this was not about money. And now you're seeing the breadcrumbs. Now you're seeing all this information, right? The ransom notes, etc. If this was really all about that ransom, if it was really about that money, where's the ransom note? Where is the proof of life? Anything of that sort. Think about that. And Jess, you aren't wrong. You aren't wrong. Yes, I am a normal human being. Thank you. I got worried about that. I thought maybe I was loco, lente loco. But no, I'm not crazy. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. And whoever did this is evil and nuts. Absolutely. Okay. We got to think in the mind of a crazy individual. That is very true. Okay. But if we're just talking logical, because you got to remember, he thought about things before he did it. So there is some logic in his brain. He at least has logic, a criminal mind, okay? To a certain extent. He knew to go buy a book bag. He knew to go buy things to cover up his hands and his face and his identity and all that. He knew to go case the joint before he actually pounced on the very early morning of February 1st. So he has critical thinking. He has logic. He is a forward-thinking individual. So this wasn't a situation where he's like, F this thing, and he just went in and did his thing. Because if this was truly not somebody that was not thinking ahead of time, we would see that. We wouldn't see, actually, a photo or a still of him showing up days, if not several days, before he actually did the crime. If he was just nuts and crazy and stupid, we wouldn't see all that he's done so far. See what I'm saying? He planned these things out, right? He planned this thing out. and then he pounced. So he's logical to a certain extent. Okay, he is criminal. He is evil. Yes, he's nuts. We all agree on that. No disagreement on that. But something else is going on here. And I don't know if it's somebody else who's pulling the strings above him to make the whole thing go down. I don't know. But something very strange is going on. Something very strange is going on. And I hope at some point we start to figure that out very, very soon.
If this is the same person, I got to say, I find it a little odd that when this person first makes their appearance, right, they are not entirely sure. I mean, they see the camera, then the next time they seem to be confused about the camera, right? I'm not entirely sure this is the same person. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a good point, Jesse, and we don't know if it's the same person. You know, we were really analyzing the photos, and it appears the jacket in one could be different than the jacket in the other, but it's hard to tell for sure because it's obviously dark out, and the infrared and the lighting, and you know, it's hard to be certain, but it could be a different jacket. But this is really a bombshell report, and we have, you know, News Nation has sources that have confirmed that these pictures are from different dates. The picture with the backpack on the right side of the screen from the morning when Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped, and then on the left side of the screen from a previous day. We haven't nailed down exactly what day that is. They're not telling us that part of it. But I will tell you, and what this is the first thing I thought of when this new reporting came out, is that the deputies and the FBI agents, Jesse, were specifically asking the neighbors right on the street for any video that they had from the night on January 11th. And that date kept coming up over and over again. The neighbors were telling me they're very interested in January 11th, which is just interesting because is that perhaps when this other photo was taken? Is that how they knew the guy was in the neighborhood? Is that why they're so interested in January 11th? And that's weeks before Nancy's kidnapping on February 1st, which would mean this guy was casing the house for weeks, Jesse.
But what's also strange about it is they were asking the neighbors for surveillance footage all the way from January 1st. So maybe they're just trying to do a wide kind of net to see if they saw anything. You've spoken to neighbors. Have they seen anything suspicious? Have they ever seen anybody looking like this?
No. I mean, this is a very quiet neighborhood. This is a very upscale, you know, nothing happens here. In fact, I was just talking to a former detective who worked this area and said, you know, there was one year they only had 2 calls for service in this entire neighborhood, which is a big neighborhood, within the whole year, which gives you an idea of just they're not used to anything bad happening here. And I've told you before, I mean, it's so dark. There's no way they would have seen someone walking down the street anyway at this time of night or any time during the night because it's just pitch black.
What I'm about to ask you, I want to be very clear. I want to make this caveat. I'm not trying to criticize law enforcement. I'm not in their shoes. I never want to do that as part of an investigation. I'm just incredibly confused as to when they learned this information and when they decided, because let's be clear, they haven't officially told us that this is what this is an image from another date, right? I mean, Sheriff Nanos even said this new information didn't come from him, but you can see the confusion because you have Cash Patel, who, when originally they released the images, said it was all from the same time. Sheriff Nanos says it didn't come from them. Do you have any clarity about what is going on there in terms of law enforcement when they learned about these images or what they're saying about these images?
I mean, it's a good question. Look, so we obviously have sources at News Nation. One of them is my sources who has confirmed that, you know, these are from different dates, but we're not the only ones reporting this. I saw Fox reporting the same thing, ABC, CNN, everyone has confirmed this reporting independently within the last couple of hours. And what's interesting is the Pima County Sheriff just put out a statement right before we came on the air, basically denying all of this, saying we're aware that the doorbell images released earlier in the investigation depict a suspect in different stages of attire. There is no date or timestamp associated with these images. Therefore, any suggestion that the photographs were taken on different days is purely speculative, which just kind of goes back to the point you were making. You know, are these different agencies all on the same page? I mean, we confirmed a couple of days ago, remember, that they were going in the gun shops with 60 photos and 60 names. And these are the gun shop, several different gun shop employees and owners telling us this. And then the sheriff flat out said that just was not true. They weren't doing it, which I don't know. It's hard to keep track of because it's like, no, we were there. So I don't know if they just don't want the information to get out. So it's kind of like deny, deny, deny. We don't know.
Yeah, because why is he wearing a backpack and not wearing a backpack? And by the way, if you can confirm, okay, it's the same person from the same day, come out and say it. I mean, it's the same thing when we talk about why won't they officially say there was forced entry or not. Again, I understand in any investigation, you have to be careful about what you tell the media and what you have to tell the public to not jeopardize it. But it's aspects of this that just leave people with a lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions and a lot of side eyeing. And, you know, I'm not Jesse Weber. I appreciate him not, throwing any shade or questions in that regard, some sort of criticism, I guess, towards towards Pima County Sheriff's Department. But I can't help but do that because it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And every time we get any piece of information, we get Thanos Nanos snapping his fingers and saying, nope, that information you heard is not true. And that information you heard is not true at all. And that causes more confusion. That causes more confusion in the case and in the investigation. And of course, to the people who are listening and watching, to the court of public opinion. And it makes him look worse. Instead of him just saying, like, because for a fact, it all started when it was, hey, here's the information that we have. She was taken from her bed, that kind of thing. Oh, no, that was a turn of phrase. That was a figure of speech, right? Him giving us information, then suddenly out of nowhere, running that all back and saying all that is not true and making the listeners and the media look like they're absolutely losing their minds. Like we had a Tennessee Williams play, like we just had one of our spells, right? And that's not fair, and that's not right. He's the one who's been causing the mayhem and the confusion and the side eyeing even more, because he can't just sit there and go, that is true, that is not true, or even just say, hey, a lot of things are still ongoing. There's a lot of things we can't talk about in this case right now. That's all he needs to say. But he wasn't very tight-lipped in the very beginning he was not tight-lipped in the very beginning of this investigation. That's where he screwed up. And then now, because he's lied to the general public countless times in the very beginning, now every single time that we get some semblance of truth, he runs to his X account and says, no, all that you heard is not true, when it is true. FBI going store to store, asking if they've seen these particular faces, these 40 individuals, seeing if that they at all have bought a gun at their place at all. And then he says, that's not true. Thanos Nanos snaps his fingers and says, that is not true, when it is true. When he says she was snatched from her bed, but then he says it was a figure of speech, it was a turn of phrase. And then now we hear from Nancy Guthrie literally say verbatim, she was snatched, taken from her bed. Again, this is not good. It's a very bad look, and it puts a very bad taste in the mouths of everybody who's watching, listening, or even covering this case. We're all now side-eyeing them. And that should not be how it should be. In fact, I'm annoyed at the fact that they have not even tried to turn around and say, hey, guys, public, we need your help. We're at this point now where they should be going to the public and saying, hey, we have this bit of information. Anybody out there that knows anything, we right now, we don't know of anything about a make of a car. We don't have anything right now. Nothing. And that could very well be true, that they may not have anything at all. They may not have anything, right? But at the same time, they have some things. And if they were to put that out to the public, I think that would be very helpful. It could get us closer to figuring out what the hell happened in this case.
Let's talk about what might be happening on the ground. I understand that there are now volunteer-led search parties trying to find Nancy. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that was very, there's a busy component to the weekend with the volunteer search parties. And it's the first time we've ever seen that, Jesse. They organized, they got together yesterday, and they searched this entire area. They went into ravines. It's kind of treacherous terrains. There's terrain, there's cactuses everywhere. There's these tunnels that they went deep into. They actually found a backpack at one point, called the Pima County Sheriff. The sheriff came and picked up the backpack. Didn't appear to be the backpack from the photos of the suspect, but nonetheless, they were searching. And the sheriff's office actually put out a statement saying, look, please don't interfere with law enforcement. You may need a permit. Don't go on private property. Almost kind of like telling people not to search in a sense, which was kind of interesting. But nonetheless, they got out and they were searching.
That's unusual, particularly with a case like this, I'll say, because the more eyeballs, the better, particularly if you don't have a clear sense of where she is, or even if you're finding new information like the gloves, or you're finding, obviously the backpack wasn't connected at this point, but talk to me about the DNA, right? So we're all waiting to hear back about whether or not there was a hit for genetic genealogy, right? If there was the DNA on the glove potentially in the house that was submitted to a public database, find a familial match, a relative of that suspect, the masked person. You use other evidence you find in an investigation, narrow it down. There's some people say you might get a hit back in a couple days, a few weeks. Every case is different. Have you heard anything on the ground about how they're doing with that DNA?
Well, it's not good news, Jesse. The sheriff said that they're having challenges. That's the way he described it, challenges. Remember, they sent the DNA to their private lab in Florida that the sheriff's office uses. The FBI wanted it to go to Quantico, but the sheriff decided to send it to Florida. Now he says they're having challenges because the DNA is mixed. And he said over the weekend that the issues could be a delay of weeks, months, but then he said, or even a year. Which was sort of shocking for everybody who's been following this case closely because...
Why? Hold on. A freaking up to a possible... Wait, who?
Mixed. Decided to in Florida that the sheriff's office uses. The
No.
FBI wanted it to go to Quantico, but the sheriff decided to send it to Florida. Now he says they're having challenges because the DNA is mixed. And he said over the weekend that the issues could be a delay of weeks, months, but then he said, or even a year, which was sort of shocking for everybody who's been following this case closely because, we were hoping that they were going to get these results back somewhat quickly.
That is not time that Nancy has. That is not time that her family wants to hear. That is awful.
It is absolutely awful. So remember we heard earlier yesterday that they said there is
awful.
Whoa, I didn't mean to hit that. Hold on. They said something along the lines of one thing. Okay, this is absolutely nuts. That we still have nothing. We still have nothing. The DNA could be bupkis, could be nothing. Okay, because there's other reports of them saying that they haven't been able to extract anything from that DNA or from that DNA mix. We don't even know what kind of mix. What is it? Is it, did he cut him? Did he get cut? Did something happen? You know what I mean? What is that? Right? Could it be skin cells? You know what I mean? Like in her, mixed in with her blood? Like what's going on? It just doesn't make any sense, right? But the fact that this sheriff is now sitting here saying that it could take up to a possible year to get any results from that DNA. Yeah, Jesse Weber said it perfectly. That is not that is not something that a family wants to hear when they're trying to find, when time is of the essence. And they've already been way over time, right? We've been way over time. And now they're saying, oh, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be over a year to get any results from that stuff. Why aren't they giving that DNA mix to the FBI and letting them do their due diligence? Now, here's the thing. Obviously, we now know that there has been some new developments. Obviously, we've been seeing that FBI did make an appearance at this house, And we're all wanting to know why. What does this all mean? Does this mean that they're taking over? What does this mean? Right? I'm quite curious myself. What does this mean? Is FBI taking over? And if they are, man, I hope they are.
Yeah, so it was one of our cameramen who was able to get the video right up at the front door. That was during the a couple-day window there, remember, which the sheriff now been criticized for, where they basically opened the crime scene back up. And it was not even a deputy. It was just like totally normal. So we were able to walk to the front door. The other reporters did it too, just because it was just like any other house. They're not on the door and see there. But it is interesting that today it seemed like they were focused on the front door area, which is where we saw the blood droplets leading up from the front door out to the driveway. And then you can see again, they left as a sort of a convoy of vehicles that left after spending more than an hour here. So whether they were investigators investigating a lead, whether it was prosecutors that wanted to tour the house, which would be interesting, or I was also wondering if it could have been a member of the Guthrie family who didn't want to be seen by the media but wanted to go back to the house. Is that why they pulled back the SUV in the garage? Still don't know at this point. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a sense that there could be something going on behind the scenes. I think the $1 million reward yesterday also just sort of pushed a lot of new energy into the case just in general. The thought of
Whoa. Yeah, over 700 tips, guys. Let me I want to show this to you guys too. There's a couple of things we've got to look at, so we're going to look at them real quick. Okay. Also, please, guys, do me a solid. Do me a solid. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, we're keeping an eye on this case. We got a lot of other things that are going on in the world. Did you guys watch, by the way, that random question? Okay, and still has to do with Guthrie, the Guthrie case. I guess they were doing a promo for the Netflix show about Amy Bradley. But anyway, before they went into this segment, so just so you could see proof positive, we're about to talk about all this. So, did you guys see the State of Union? The State of the Union address by Trump? Did you guys see it? I know I heard it was almost like 2 hours long. I didn't get a chance to do it. I was on Court TV. I wasn't able to watch the whole thing with you guys. I'm sorry I wasn't able to do that. I was live on Court TV, and I was on later than I thought, and not a bad thing. I just thought I was going to be on earlier in the show. But nonetheless, y'all see it? Because apparently people are not happy with it. Allegedly, people are not happy with it, but interesting, right? All right, so let's hear this video. And by the way, I'm not here to say that to start any fights or start any issues in the family chat. I'm just saying, from what I'm understanding, some people weren't happy with it. Some people were, it was just kind of polarizing. So I was just asking a question, just seeing what you guys thought of it.
Amy Bradley is missing. Brad, thank you for being with.
So this is Nancy Guthrie's. Wait. Oh, no, this is not Nancy Guthrie's. This is Amy Bradley's brother. Okay. talking about this situation. Interesting.
With us. You and I have talked before about your sister's case, and as I've talked to so many families of missing people, there is the agony of the unknown, not knowing if Amy is alive and still with us, and in the Guthrie family's case, Savannah not knowing if her mom is still alive. Talk about the hardship of the unknown in cases like yours and so many others.
Good morning, Marty. Good to talk to you again, and thanks for having me. Yeah, it's awful. The unknown, you know, in the initial weeks following Amy's disappearance, I can't even describe what that was like. It was an absolute nightmare. You know, you can't eat, you can't sleep, lots of anxiety, fear, and loss of focus, and it's a hard thing, obviously. And you know, I hope and pray that Miss Guthrie is found alive and returned home safe. You know, after, you know, we're coming up a month away from 28 years from Amy's disappearance, and we continue to hope against hope, as Savannah said just a few minutes ago in that clip. You know, the hope doesn't go away, as unrealistic, you know, as it may be to some people, that it's possible that she's still alive and still out there. Fortunately for the Guthries, it's only been a little.
Just so you guys know, this is Amy Bradley's brother. Okay, Amy Bradley was on a cruise ship, if my memory serves me correctly, and she vanished on that cruise ship. Amy Bradley. There's a whole Netflix episode or Netflix series about her disappearance and all that. It's very, very interesting. So anyway, he is the brother of Amy Bradley.
Over 3 weeks, or maybe we're into the 4th week now, but I think there's still a good chance that she can be found, and hopefully she's still with us.
Yeah, and they have a lot of evidence in the Guthrie case as well, Brad. You know, one thing that happened, one of the developments, was clearing the Guthrie family, and they do that in all missing cases. No one is cleared as a suspect until a certain point. And I'm sure that happened in your case as well, with Amy being questioned by authorities. How difficult was that process, and what did it look like for a family member of a missing person in the midst of such chaos?
I mean, it was chaotic, like you say. I mean, it wasn't a big deal for us. You know, obviously we had nothing to hide. We were frustrated by the apparent, you know, focus on us rather than focusing on, you know, who actually had, you know, may have had something to do with what happened to Amy. But, you know, we took it, you know, in stride and understood that it was normal. We were all interviewed separately and polygraphed separately and all that kind of thing. And, you know, and it obviously wasn't a problem, but yeah, it's a hard thing, and it's a necessary thing, but it's, you know, it takes focus away from what's important in the investigation in the early stages, I believe, too.
Yeah, and a big development, offering $1 million reward. That's a lot of money. The family is working with the FBI right now, as I know yours has through Amy's disappearance. The thing that does, Brad, is they get thousands of new tips. They already have 700 new tips, and it feels as though they got just as many theories about what happened to Nancy. How difficult is it to handle all that attention with so many tips coming in? Your case got renewed attention after that Netflix documentary.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a lot. We've got a small team of people. You know, I'm not privy to what the FBI does or how much work that they've put into this. You know, in a recent meeting we've had with them, they ran through several leads that they've looked into and chased down and ruled out and so forth. But, you know, the reward, you know, that you see in Amy's case is $25,000. That reward, unfortunately, has remained stagnant despite our request to raise it. There's a fine line, you know, between what it might take to incentivize a person with information to come forward, and or worrying about, you know, bringing the crazies out of the woodwork if you make the reward too much. We've seen that in our experience in the past. There was previously a $250,000 reward from a benefactor who has since passed, so that reward is no longer available in Amy's case. But we saw when that reward was instituted what it brought about, and a lot of false leads and misinformation, and people just, I don't know what people think sometimes, but I understand why they may have wanted Savannah to withhold the $1 million offer. Obviously, I surely wish my family had that amount of money to offer, and obviously we would do that. But the problem that I see currently is the lack of some sort of equitable standard as it comes to reward determinations or media attention, as it were, or the allocation of federal resources.
Thank you for. Yeah, it's definitely for sure that money definitely makes people move different when money's involved, and that is definitely for sure. And it does it's unfortunate, it's sad, because a family like the Bradley family, who is of course trying to find anything, trying to find everything and anything they can to try to figure out what actually happened to their loved one, to Amy. Not everybody's so lucky. Not everybody has the Today Show money. How's that? Not everybody is lucky like that. So that is very, very unfortunate, for lack of a better term. So yeah, real quick, because we're going to be hopping over to a couple live streams here. I just saw a super chat that I want to grab really quick before we continue. Annie Jean, thank you so much for the love. Pascal, I got an email saying my membership has been paused. I want to keep supporting your channel, but I don't know why they would pause my membership. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It could be maybe you changed out your card or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. I don't know. Because everything's rolling just fine over here on this end. So maybe that's what it is. I would just look into it. Maybe it's a card type of deal. Let's take a listen to this.
See the door?
Not really,
garage
bruh.
door going down. Went into the garage.
Can't see nothing, homie. But I understand.
What the heck is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
There's action still going on. White Dodge Caravan was cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like a older, not that old, but probably within 10 years.
No, I'm under here because I don't like the sun out there. And you can't see what's going on, and I don't want to burn up equipment. We do have the fan, though, but it will overheat. The sun is beating, and this is a pretty good spot here to see for now. Shoes here. It's but I'm gonna go scout around. Maybe I'll find a new spot.
I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. Let's see. There's also Dad's gone live.
Don't donate to me. We're good. I also just ordered flowers. I took your guys' donations and stuff. I just spent another $106 on flowers. So I don't care if you guys see the last four on my card. Don't care at all. Just ordered more flowers, guys. For those of you guys wondering, I just ordered another $106 worth of flowers. So we're going to pick that up in a little bit. I'm not asking you guys for anything. I just wanted to do that. You guys have already sent me donations and stuff.
We're coming back to that. He was showing info he shouldn't be showing. Just saying. All I'm saying. Real quick, hold on, Pam. It's becoming more regular. It's becoming more regular. Getting on Court TV is more of a, kind of turning into a weekly thing, which it's an honor. So yeah, I guess it's like a regular thing now. Talking about all kinds of different cases and all that. So always honored to be on and just throwing in my 2 cents about things and just being just allowing me to be me on that platform, on that show. I really do appreciate it. So yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit more on the regular now, which is really dope. It's very exciting. And we'll see what comes of it, right? Let's see. Lil Catherine. I'm going to say maybe one tomorrow. Maybe there will be one tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow night. Maybe tonight. Maybe there will be one. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's frustrating because we can't really tell when things are, what's popping, right? It's very, very frustrating. And we haven't heard anything from anybody in weeks. But JLR is on his way back here. I'm gonna see what the dealio is.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, they told me down there that it appears to be a civilian van, and it also had some magnet on the back that possibly said like breast cancer awareness, like a magnet on the back, house cleaner or something. There was like a pink magnet on the back. That's what they said. So it could be a civilian. And then also they had access to the garage to be able to instantly open up the garage. So as soon as they roll in, garage door up, garage door closes.
Strange.
Interesting.
Who got the white van in the family?
Maybe one family member was brought over to go. They wanted to go see the scene. Maybe the brother, they could be hidden in the back for sure.
Yeah.
But it seems still unlikely that they would even want to be seen.
True, yeah. That appears. So we got somebody else at the house now, folks. This has been the most activity of this house. Continuously, actual activity since we've been here, weeks ago.
Okay. Some activity at the house. Another van, I guess, went in there. Don't know what that's all about, but we do have this. Let's take a look at this. This has to do with the DNA conversation.
Bring you this, a Fox News alert. Savannah Guthrie posting a very heartbreaking video this morning on the search for her mother, Nancy. And she is now offering a new $1 million reward. Let's go to Max Gordon. He is outside Nancy Guthrie's house today for an update. Hi, Max.
Hey there, Dana. Well, several new updates on the case today. There are now questions about the timeline of when everything happened in this case. Savannah Guthrie posting that new heartbreaking video this morning, and then new information on the DNA evidence that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. According to two federal law enforcement sources that spoke to Fox Digital, the DNA samples from the home came back to people who had reason to be there, and then one partial sample yielded a result that couldn't be checked by the FBI's CODIS database. This comes as a source close to the investigation tells Fox Digital the suspect caught on Guthrie's doorbell camera may have shown up before her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Office has called this speculation, saying all the photos released by the FBI were from February 1st, the day Nancy went missing. But according to the source cited by Fox Digital, one of the images released to the public was taken on a different date. And then this morning, Savannah Guthrie released another heart-wrenching video. In it, she acknowledged that her mother may not be found alive and pleaded for anyone with information on Nancy's whereabouts to come forward, announcing that the family would pay up to $1 million for information leading to her recovery.
Please.
Okay, so we already seen that, but I want you guys to hear that part again. A lot of the DNA that they were able to gather from the house. Okay. Some of them were people that worked there. They could be family members, etc., but people who actually worked there, and there's a reason why they would be there, and the reason why their DNA would be found, right? But then they said that there's one that they could not actually find through CODIS, and even extract successfully. But I'm going to play one more time so you guys can hear that again.
Everything happened in this case. Savannah Guthrie posting that new inside Nancy Guthrie's morning, and then new information on the DNA evidence that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. According to two federal law enforcement sources that spoke to Fox Digital, the DNA samples from the home came back to people who had reason to be there, and then one partial sample yielded a result that couldn't be checked by the FBI's CODIS database. This comes as a source close to the investigation tells Fox Digital the suspect caught on Guthrie's doorbell camera may have shown up before her disappearance.
So you heard so far, according to, you got Pima County Sheriff's Department leading the investigation right now until today, right? It looks like FBI is taking over. It looks like FBI is taking over, but we don't know. All we know is that FBI has been working alongside Pima County Sheriff's Department in helping them with this investigation, but they were not the ones leading the case. It's been Sheriff Nanos this entire time leading this entire investigation, right? Probably not anymore, but we'll see what happens, right? But they're now saying still no leads, zero, nothing from the mixed DNA, from anything that was found, any DNA that was found inside that house. They got nothing right now, guys. They got nothing. They got nothing. It's very frustrating.
The Pima County Sheriff's Office has called this speculation, saying all the photos released by the FBI were from February 1st, the day Nancy went missing. But according to the source cited by Fox Digital, one of the images released to the public was taken on a different date. And then this morning, Savannah Guthrie released another heart-wrenching video.
Which we already saw. We already saw that video. We've seen it quite a bit.
It is now day 24 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. Law enforcement still hasn't named a suspect or a reason for her disappearance. Dana, back to you.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane that we still have nothing. We still have absolutely nothing. Yeah, this is pretty insane. I will keep it real with y'all. Absolutely insane. Let me check. Let's see what he's saying here now.
I am very grateful. I'm blessed to be able to do all this, guys. I am very blessed that you guys, are out here with me to do this. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much. Power bank, not ankle bank. Maybe start flowers on the left side of the driveway. Swedish mom, hello. Erica, hello. $10,000 worth of lens on that lady. I also have lens envy. Yeah, look. She's got a 100 to 400, a Canon Mark III, R6 Mark III. Yeah, the lens the lens she has on the left, that's the one I have. The one on the right is the one I want. Yeah, one of her lenses is like $3,000, dude.
Yeah. So he's a camera nerd like me. Yeah, that's insane. It's amazing that people can afford those kind of things, or have them at their leisure to take photos and whatnot. But she clearly is part of media, so that could all be media equipment, right? Her news station's equipment, that kind of thing. But yeah, this is from Dad's Gone Live. Just wanted to see what he was showing and looking at as well. Let me take a look at this too. Let's see what's TMZ talking about now. They're just going through their news stuff. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I mean, there's not much. Yep. Man, oh man, oh man. Ain't this crazy? Well, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. We're back. This is just crazy. And they're all, you know what I mean? They're all doing their job. They're all giving the people what they want, which is the news revolving around this case and all that. And of course, this is just, I'm going to say, I mean, I think we all can agree that this is absolutely crazy. This whole case has been absolutely crazy. And we have gotten nothing so far. We've gone nowhere. We got a masked assailant. That's it. The DNA is nothing. So the DNA that they found, the mixed DNA that they found, they don't have anything right off the bat. It may take oh my dear God. Can't believe the sheriff even said that. But you remember he said earlier that it could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years to find Nancy Guthrie. Remember what he said that? Remember when he said that? Yeah. So now he's saying it could take weeks, months, if not, it could take a whole year for them to successfully extract any type of DNA from the mixed DNA that they have. Yeah. So they have that too. All right. Yes, Serene, thank you so much for watching from Down Under. Appreciate it. Crazy, right? You realize how, yeah, I mean, I don't believe anything he says either anymore. I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't blame anybody for not believing him right now. I hate to throw so much shade on Nanos, but at the same time, how he's been maneuvering out here has been terrible. Okay? It has been terrible. A fiduciary hijack from the Guthrie family? Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Mouthy? Maybe. But give it a couple more days, it might be the thing that works. Them going in and going, we're giving you $1 million for any updates, anything in regards to this case. I mean, shoot, it might be the jolt that it needed. It might need to be fiduciarily hijacked. okay, financially hijacked. It might need that because this is ridiculous. You know, day 25 and still nothing, right? Day 25 and still nothing. All right. Oh, wow. Aunt Vanessa, Aunt Vanessa. That means so much. Wow. Thank you for saying that. That's very sweet. Found your channel about 2 years ago when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, in remission, but now recovering from neck injury. Depression is easier to handle with your live streams. No, thank you. That means so much. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for saying that. That means the world to me. You have no idea. Thank you. And I'm glad you're in remission. Congratulations on that too. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. Hopefully your neck is okay. I know you have a neck injury, but hopefully you're okay. Okay. And I hope everybody is okay in the chat. Real talk. All right. Nothing but love and well wishes to everybody. All right. But I appreciate that. So sometimes the chat goes so fast that I don't get to see everything. But sometimes something catches my eye like that. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me going. I know that sounds really cheesy, but that is the mother loving truth. Okay. It definitely keeps me going. So thank you for that. That really means the world. So right now, we're still kind of waiting for something, right? Feds showed up. That was definitely the feds. I'm sorry. I could be wrong. You never know. That could have been it could have been a catering service. I have no idea. It could be anybody. It could have been a new, a new delivery system for Domino's Pizza. I don't know, right? All I do know is that they looked federally. Okay? Them suits were out. Them Brooks Brothers outfits, those Brooks Brothers suits, and that J. Crew and that Banana Republic, them khakis that are heisted just a little bit higher on the waist because they got to be able to move just in case, they got to be able to move fluidly. It's a dead giveaway, guys. It's a dead giveaway. All right. But let's take a look at what he's saying now.
Article about this was shared to me by Chillinois. Go check her out. She put this tweet here. Let me show you about an article about Sheriff Nanos. And it looks like it says here.
He's a tyrant.
Lieutenant Heather Lappin calls Chris Nanos a tyrant who runs Pima County like a mafioso.
Oh, snap.
Goes on to say, he is a tyrant, Lappin said. He tries to be super charming like when he did his quote at the Guthrie press conference. I'm not used to people hanging on my every word and trying to hold me accountable. And then he puts his hands on his hips because he was trying to be cute. Nobody thinks he's cute. You're a 72-year-old man. Nobody thinks you're...
He really did say that. I forgot. You guys talked about it yesterday on the show. Damn, he really did say that. Now I got to find, hold on. I got to find that. Hold on. That is nuts. I got to find that. What is her name?
You're a 72-year-old man.
Heather
Nobody
Lappin.
thinks you're...
Damn, she had words.
So Lieutenant Heather Lappin calls Chris Nanos a tyrant. I'm going to the article here and see what this is about. Who is this lieutenant here? One call. We talked to a former law enforcement in the business for 2 decades, and he called Nanos Sheriff Butterfingers.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. So let's take a look at this, shall we? It's from the Hollywood Reporter. So let's take a gander, shall we? So, says here, former political rival. So the Guthrie Sheriff's former political rival rips Chris Nanos' handling of the investigation. And of course, remember, she calls him a tyrant and basically says he runs the Pima County Sheriff Department like a mafioso. So in 2024, Republican candidate Heather Lappin lost out on the Pima County Sheriff's seat to incumbent Democrat Chris Nanos, the man currently in charge of finding Nancy Guthrie, by 481 votes in a recount. So I'm sure she demanded a recount. More than 487,000 people voted in the election, making the margin of success less than 0.1%. Insane. There is no love lost between Lappin and her former boss, and you can count Lappin among those who believe Nanos is currently bungling the investigation into this whole case, which may soon be a murder case. It may be. We're holding that. We're holding on to hope. How's that? We're holding on to hope. All right. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter, Lappin, it's crazy that she is now taking this opportunity to do an interview and be like, he ain't nothing. He ain't ish. He smells like old cheese. Okay. And he thinks he's freaking Don Corleone. Okay. Interesting. Lappin, a former Nanos lieutenant, literally, that was her rank. Interesting. Had nothing nice to say about the sheriff. He's a tyrant. He tries to be super charming, like when he did his quote at the Guthrie press conference. I'm not used to people hanging on my every word and trying to hold me accountable. Then put his hands on his hips because he was trying to be cute. Nobody thinks you're cute. You're a 72-year-old man. Nobody thinks you're cute. So he really did say, like somebody said it in a super chat, I think yesterday. And I was like, oh my God, he did say that. He's like, I'm not used to people hanging on my every word. You're the freaking sheriff. Damn right, people are holding on to every single word that you say. The Moving on. So stupid. You're a 72-year-old man. Nobody thinks you're cute. Okay, so maybe some of Lappin's grievances are a little petty, but not all of them. After her loss, Lappin said she asked to be transferred to another county department, any of them. The request was denied, and she eventually relocated to Phoenix, a 1 hour and 40-minute drive from Tucson, where she found new employment. It's been a ride. After challenging him for the sheriff's post, Lappin claims Nanos transferred her to a corrections role at the Pima County Adult Detention Center. Lappin had no corrections experience, but 20 years as a cop on the street. And by then, the jail was a very bad place to be, even for jail. We had an exorbitant amount of jail death because Nanos decided to come in and fire correction officers only for not getting the poke. They didn't fire deputies. They only fired corrections officers. He lost an election for sheriff in 2016 amid a RICO investigation. Oh, interesting. He won in 2020, the same year that the Rona began to kill inmates, but so did the realities of a small staff, Lappin says. The inmates were literally kept in these rooms just getting food. That's it. No exercise, no nothing. It was also difficult for the remaining corrections officers to monitor substances coming into the prisons, she said. In a few years, Lappin would face those challenges, the consequence of being on the ballot opposite Nanos, she contends. Her new work was hard and unfamiliar, and her nights weren't a whole lot better than the days. Lappin says she was the target of 13 internal affairs investigations in just 6 months, which allegedly each allegedly an effort for Nanos to discredit his political opponent. Nanos also attempted to intimidate Lapin at campaign events, she claims. He sent his two female captains, to my campaign events to try to intimidate me. He's like a mafioso. That's what he's like. Right now, our focus is on the investigation and serving the victims and this community. Political commentary distracts from this active investigation, and it is unfortunate. This is what he says. I guess he told the Hollywood Reporter when asked for comment on the accusations in this story. My focus remains on justice and transparency. Nanos has recently sat for interviews with select media on the ground in Tucson. He has tussled with some of the conservative outlets. Well, he's tussled with most, I think, but moving on. If not all, but moving on. After Nanos won by a razor-thin margin, Lapin says, he just kept coming after me. The result of the efforts was an administrative leave for Lapin, where she says she was basically put under house arrest. She sued for $2 million. Now Lapin is trying to not talk about the Guthrie case, but did criticize the sheriff's work. Lapin declined to comment on plans to run for Pima County Sheriff in 2028, though she says she can from an eligibility standpoint. Earlier this month, Nancy Guthrie, which we already know, has been missing. We already know about all that. A lot of the Guthrie case is just consequences of his really bad decision-making, the years of decimating his units. 3 of our best homicide detectives, probably in all of Southern Arizona, were removed from homicide because they supported me in the election. One popular criticism of Nanos, who, to his credit, has taken much of it head on, is a reported rift between his office and the feds. Still ongoing. That's still going on right now as we speak. It is not entirely clear who has primary jurisdiction, as the details of the crime remain so unknown. Lapin says she would have handled the case differently. So here's the thing. She's using this as an opportunity. It's 2 different things. Right now, let's be real. She's utilizing this as an opportunity to get ahead, to get her name out there, to get people to know who she is. And obviously, this is a perfect opportunity. If you really think about it, you got your enemy. You got your enemy making very, very obvious mistakes in front of the world stage. On the world stage in front of everybody, right? This is a perfect opportunity for her to step forward and be like, yeah, he's an idiot. He's a mafioso. He's a piece of trash. Don't get me wrong. I don't like him at all either. I don't like how he's been handling this situation at all. I think he's been trash from day one. Well, day one, he seemed cool. And then after that, he just became a butthole, right? But this is an opportunity for her to scoop up this ground ball. And she's also not denying about the possibility of her running in 2028. So this is this is political theater right here. This is opportunity. This is a perfect opportunity for her to step forward and go, look at him looking like Booba the Fool. Look at him look like a fool. This is an opportunity for me to get in here and let everybody know I'm still here. And let me become sheriff this time. Because he is screwing up. He's making big mistakes. So she could basically say anything she wants right now, and it's going to make her look great, right? Now, I'm not sitting here saying that what she's saying about him isn't true, but you know for a fact, it's a perfect opportunity for her to grab the brass ring. Crazy, right? Yeah, El Jefe Nanos. Yeah. Dame cinco. But anyway, pretty crazy, right? Pretty insane. It looks like all is calm right now for now. So let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Lisa, thank you so much. Criminal Minds has landed or have landed. Yeah, I have a feeling feds are taking over, and we should be, I hope, we're going to be hearing something very, very soon from the feds. And I'm going to take a look. I'm going to check to see if there's any updates here before we wrap up the show and all that. Okay. Dolores, thank you so much for the love. And of course, I'll be back on in a few hours as well to talk about all of whatever's been developing for sure. Happy Days, thank you so much. You're the best, Pascal. Thank you so much. You're the best too, Happy Days. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate it. Nicole B, what up? Thank you. Again, this was never about money. They didn't even take her purse. LOL. Happy hump day, y'all. Yeah, Camel. Here's the thing. Yeah, see what I'm saying? This was never about money, guys. I don't think it is about money. I really don't. I mean, now it is when you got $1 million on the line. So whoever has the information, they're about to be $1 million richer, possibly, right? Happy Days again. Thank you. This is some serial killer types of response now. There is a very dangerous predator in their midst in Tucson. Yep, there's a very dangerous predator for sure. So who is it? Okay. So who is it, right? Hold on. Moira, thank you so much for becoming a member again. Welcome back. Noel, thank you so much for the super chat or super sticker. Appreciate it. Nicole B, thank you again. How did they not get a camera notification that night? He was creeping before the crime. Well, he might have been doing it at night when she was asleep. So maybe there was some sort of alert and she didn't notice because she was asleep. That's possible too. But it is interesting. Remember, they said that there was some sort of alert saying that somebody was in the house. So I don't know. Maybe the alert didn't go off that time. I don't know. It's very strange. She didn't, they didn't have the subscription. So I don't know. Does that stop you from being able to get an alert? I don't know. It's so strange. It's so strange. Okay. Porta. I'm just going to say Porta. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Why is no one talking about how Savannah's husband's, I guess, okay. Why is no one talking about Savannah's husband's connection, I guess, to the Clintons? I think that's what you're trying to say. They have alleged done things to their employees before. Well, then they would do, if it was something that they've done to their employees before, why would they do it to their employee's mother-in-law? Why not just Savannah Guthrie's husband and call it a day? You see what I'm saying? So interesting. But that's a part I don't understand. Like, that's a part I don't, it just doesn't make sense. Why this poor old woman and not just the husband and just be done with it? You know what I mean? But I get it. There's going to be conspiracies and theories running amok, and people are trying to connect the Epstein file to her, to Savannah's husband, to, like, it's all this stuff, right? All these things. Everyone's trying to connect all of the dots, and they're all insane. I get it. Catherine, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thanks for this great reporting. Best commentary so far. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So very much. Did she have hearing aids, Dave? Nancy had hearing aids also. If they were not in, she may not have heard anything. That's also true too. If she didn't have her hearing aids in, there's still a possibility of that too. Then you'd think that if an intruder was on her front lawn, wouldn't she have some sort of alarm system that's loud as hell? I mean loud. Loud, like loud. So like next door neighbors hear that. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? No, I get that's the point of the camera. But what I mean is an alarm system that goes off and it's loud. So everyone, like next door neighbor can't avoid that. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like it has to be something loud that sets it off, like, you know, wakes her up from her slumber. Doesn't matter if she has hearing aids in or not. Shoot, wakes up the next door neighbor. You feel me? Something that just goes, whoa. What's going on? Is she okay? Calling 911. You see what I'm saying? There are alarm systems like that. There are. As soon as somebody walks onto that property or tries to break in or tries to rattle the door, like that, bing, 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 lights turn on and everything. It is like you cannot avoid. You can't miss it. And I don't think she had that kind of system. Clearly, she didn't have that kind of system. Everybody and their mama would have heard that. You know what I mean? So this is very, very interesting, guys. Like I said, if there's more information revolving around this, we will be talking about it. I am waiting to see what's going on. Thank you, Debbie, for reminding me. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you with the poll because I tend to forget at the end of the show. But thank you. All right. So I said, do you think the feds are not taking over the investigation? Out of 3.6K votes. God, I can't talk. 3.6K votes. 3,600 votes. Why am I glitching now? 86% of y'all think that the feds are officially taking over the investigation. And I got to be honest. Sabrina, thank you so much for reminding Debbie to remind me. I appreciate that too. And shout out to my amazing mods. Now, here's the thing. I agree. Obviously, I've been saying that since the beginning of the show. I think the feds are taking over. What does this entail? What's the future here? I know we can't predict the future, but I'm really, really hopeful that they are taking over and that the results are fast, swift, and easy. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll find out. But I'll be back on in a few hours. If there's new updates or anything else, we will be talking about it for sure. I promise you that. But that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really, really means a lot. It really does. Do me a favor before we get into everything or before we get going, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you are following. Follow, cabrón. Por favor. Follow. Okay? Hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel, right here. Please and thank you. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show. Subscribe over there as well. Or The Pascal Show Clips, I'm sorry. Subscribe over there as well. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. If you want to support even further, go check out my Patreon right here. Going across the ticker right now. Support if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. We'll be talking here very soon. Okay? I'll be back in a few hours. But until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.